Hey, what's up guys? We're in part 2 of our vlog series exploring the creation and evolution of our new upcoming luxury scooter, the Apollo Pro. Now if you remember from the previous video, we were with our CTO, Alwa. Hello, Alwa. We were exploring the first prototype that we received of the new Pro, and Alwa was going over all the different features and components of that scooter. So today, we've got the second prototype, and he's going to cover some of the differences and upgrades that have been made since then. Ready?
Let's go. All right, so we're gonna start from the back of the scooter. The first thing you notice is the nuts for the motors are completely gone now. We have some caps over them, so you have a much cleaner finish on it. And on top of that, we integrated the motor wires inside the forks. So if you look at the old model, it was on the top of the forks with zip ties. Now it's inside the forks. We made a channel for it, so it just looks much cleaner. There's also a double fender bracket now. If you remember, on the old one it was kind of flimsy, only holding on one side. It's way more solid. There's still some things I would like to fix, like maybe to extend it all the way back to really get the maximum coverage for it, but maybe on the next sample. The cap here look way better, and you can see it's smooth like this, the angle, like I love the finish, but it's a cap that twists and you can remove it. So I'll remove it on this side, and you can see it's only a cap like this, right?
Okay, I see.
So the problem with this, it will get loose because it's something you screw and it's gonna rattle. To prevent that, we could add Loctite, but then you add Loctite on this part with no grip really, so how will people remove them to change, let's say, the tire? And also this is the only thing holding the fender bracket in place now. So you can see it's really curved out for the fender bracket on the forks like this. So that's also not a good system, because with the time it's going to get loose and it's going to be removing some metal of the forks, and you don't want that. So this whole system needs to be revised. The other thing you can notice at the back is how thick now the forks is compared to the other model. It's way stronger. It's about 2.5 times stronger than the other one we have. So that's great. And also obviously the tire.
Much thicker, yeah.
So before we had the regular air tire, maybe 2.5 inch wide. This one is 4.5 inch wide. It's kind of crazy. And this one is a self-healing tires, just like we have on the City. So
cool.
And we want to move towards that for all our models. So that's pretty cool. And just having those tires, the whole scooter look way more beefy, way more solid, right?
I remember commenting last time, like the tires look very tall, but kind of thin.
Yeah. So now it's still 12 inch, but way thicker, so it's more balanced. And when you look at the tire compared to the rest of the scooter, they don't look oversized, you know, they fit well with the rest of the design. The other thing we changed is also the angle of the footrest. So before we had the issue of rubbing on the tires when we were on it, and now it's more pronounced. It's the same angle as the neck. So that won't happen again. It's fixed to the body. Now the only way to grab it is really like this, and you don't really have a good grip at the back, it's slipping. So if you can have a hole here, I think it's gonna look better. And also, yeah, it's just easier for transportation. So that's pretty much it for the back. And the last thing, we added a rear drum brake. So on the last sample, it was only front brake. At this speed, we have the regen. We say you won't use the brake really, the mechanical one. But still it's good to have two in case something happens.
Yeah.
So if we move at the back, we still have the rubber suspension. This one is a bit softer than the other one we had before. People don't really see it, but it feels better. Then we have the grip here. The grip is way thicker. You can see it's like chunky now. So that's the second mold we did, and people are gonna see throughout this series that we made a lot of different molds for the grip, just for the thickness of it. This one is a bit too chunky for me. We want like really to keep the clean look of the City, and when you see this, it looks heavy duty, which is great, but not much like refined. It could be better. And we also changed the light. So now you don't see as many dots as before. It's much smoother, but it's a bit too blue to my taste. So that's what it's looking like for now. And the one at the back are not lighting up because I broke them. Like all our sample, always break them. And this one, yeah, you can see the turning lights, which are pretty cool. I like the shade too of like orange. It's a bit dark, I like it. And we love this motion. I think that's one of the best turning signal on the market for now, so that's great. I would like in the future to add some on the handlebar too. People are always asking for that, something visible on top of the handlebar, which is fair. We're gonna try to add it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the body. We're gonna show inside as well after. The neck is still the same. The new things with it is a charging port. Before it was only a small rubber cap here in the hole. now we have a proper, like retractable, I guess, flippable cap.
Like on the City.
Like on the City. It's the exact same one, but this one is for 52 volt, same cap, just difference in the battery. So it looked better, it looked more refined than having just the little rubber cover we had. So that's pretty cool. If we continue, we have the front wheel. So same thing. Now we have double fender bracket. We have those caps hiding it. The forks is way thicker now. The new tire as well. So that's look fantastic overall. There's also some bearings now on the pivot point. So that's a lot smoother. The suspension spring changed as well. So before it was a lot more small and flimsy. We replaced the bolt in the middle from a M8 to a M12. So it's way thicker and stronger. And the actual profile of the spring looked like the one we have on the Ghost now, which is more fat. We like that. We also changed the whole system in the front. So if you remember on the old one, folding mechanism, same as the City. We're gonna be upgrading some screws to make it even more robust. That's pretty much it for the direction folding mechanism. Overall, worked really well. Like this, really sharp. And if we go up the stem, we have the LED here, same as before. It was white, so no color option. Same thing as the previous sample, just a white line, which is not the same shade as this one. That's something that's still annoying me. This one is like kind of more bluish. Why? Because we have like a RGB function, and you cannot achieve the same white as just a pure white LED. So maybe I'm gonna change this one to be RGB as well to at least match, and it's gonna look much better, more integrated. If we continue up, then we have the whole handlebar with the wireless charger. So let's check it out. All right, so now let's look at the top. The first thing you notice is the orange brake cable. I think I'm just gonna put black ones. It's gonna match better with the rest of the design.
Maybe we should talk to you about the paint. It looks different from the first one.
So that's closer to the final one. It's also the same shade as the City, as people can notice. The sample that we showed before, it was 423C, the Pantone. It was supposed to be this for the City as well. If you remember our comparison video that we made for the City, the first prototype was the exact same color, a lighter gray. But then we changed the City, so we changed this one as well to fit. And it just looked way better. It looked more luxurious. It looked, oh yeah, very sleek, like a Batmobile now with the big tires and the darker shades. So I'm pretty happy with the result of this.
Robert Pattinson, hit us up.
And we use oil painting as well. So compared to the Phantom, which is powder coat, this one is oil paint, so you get a much more shinier result. And also more consistent. It's easier to get like clean surfaces compared to powder coat. So if we continue at the top, we still have the wireless charger here. Right now it works way better than before. We put a thicker coil, even more than before. Try to remove this. So the other one, I showed what we had at the beginning and what we upgraded from. So this is the upgraded one. It's better. There's still things I don't like those wires are moving with everything. You don't want that with time, or even if there's bad QC at the factory, it can get pinched, it's gonna wear down. There's too many moving parts for me in that system. So we're gonna try to improve it. And also now it's only a button that lock it like this. The button it's a good system, it's working, but it's only jamming between two teeth of the gear system here. We want something that's going to be able to twist, so it's going to be able to grab between the teeth and
more precise.
Yeah, more precise. So it can really adjust to all the phones properly, because now it can get stuck between almost two sides, and we don't want to put your phone at risk. And if we continue, we have the throttles too. So this one has the same throttle as the pre-production City. So we have the metal aluminum cap here to hide the wires, and we have the plastic throttle. That's not really good because the finish is different. Here is super reflective, the throttle is matte, and we want something plastic and plastic or metal and metal to be really consistent and seem like one piece of component. So that's gonna come. It's just we need to open the molds for this. With the first one, you remember it was super shiny, the handles. We still tried to get some foam one. Those one are the one that they use really on the the retractable stick for the police, like those kind of thing. It feels good. It's pretty durable, but it just looked like we cheap out on this component. It's more expensive than regular grip, so we're gonna change that. I'm not sure what to put yet. If we're gonna put handles with like the shape of your palm, like we have on the Ghost, for example, or if we keep a round one like we have on the City. Maybe people in the comment can let us know. I'm not sure what to do for this. Overall, they feel great, they just look cheap. We have the second brake handle that we added for the back too, which is this one here on the left side. Feels great, it's a custom brake handle too, to be integrated with the rest of the design. The curve here, it's all custom. One thing that people complained about when they were trying it is how far it is from the handlebar. For me, it's easy, I have big hands, but when you see like people with smaller hands, it's quite far.
It's a bit of a reach.
Yeah. I had some friends that were not even able to reach out to the brake handle. That's our technique to encourage people to use the region brake. We're going to revise it. We're just going to cut it here to make it a bit closer to the handles. So that's going to come. And overall, that's pretty much it for the...
They look very solid though.
They do, they do. I love it. Compared to like the regular classic brake handle that you have that usually look cheap, those one, yeah, they feel like the rest of the scooter. Look great. Those one has 2 wires on the brake handles, so it's either on or off. So again, we need to switch back to 3 wires on the next prototype to be smoother. And lastly, we have the speaker here. So the speaker, you can see this small grill here. It's for the horn. Not sure if it's gonna work. That's the horn for now. Again, we can change it on the mobile app. That's just a default sound that comes with it. It's for the horn, it's fine, but for the speaker, it's not loud enough, and it's also really the sound is not great. We need to improve the quality of the speaker. The problem that we have now is that we have a wireless charger here. We have the PCB that manage all those components, and the lights here all coming up, and we have the headlights at the front. So it's quite jammed in there. So to put a bigger speaker, it's going to be hard. We're going to have to like rework how we place it and rework the entire PCB. That's going to come. We need to, you know, it's either I think we don't put any speaker on the scooter if it's to sound like this, or we just rework everything to put a speaker that is worth it. Yeah. That you can listen to your music and it doesn't sound trash.
Something you guys can leave feedback for. If you guys want us to leave a speaker that's maybe not the best quality, or if you don't care about the speaker at all, let us know. I think we would appreciate the feedback.
Yes. The other thing we did here is remove the hook. So we had one on the previous sample because the idea was to, when you fold it, to lock it in place. The problem is the hook that we had was ugly, first of all, and the hook system, I guess, that we had here on the base of the scooter, and I removed it from the previous video because it was terrible. It was the same as the Air and the City, so just like the middle square sticking out of the scooter. For the Air and the City, it's okay, it fits well, but for this one, it was unacceptable. So we just asked them to remove it. I'm the first one to say that it's nice to fold your scooter and carry it, but honestly, at this weight, you're just gonna grab it like this and carry up the stairs, and if you need to put it in the car, well, you can still fold it, you know, and you're gonna put it in. On the Phantom, we don't have any hook at the back. It's an opening in the rear footrest, right? This is a point where water can get in. And if we want IP66 on that scooter with all the lights at the back too here, we cannot have an opening like this. So I'd rather just remove the hook and people need to carry it like this than creating an opening for water. You need to choose your battle, right? All right, so now for the kickstand, the big difference is we added a knob on the right side. So now you can grab the kickstand from the right side or the left side, which is just more convenient. We also added a rubber when you unfold it. There's a rubber on the ground that is no longer there. I'm gonna show it to you, and you can see that it's way thicker now, so more stronger, and also the angle changed. So on the previous model it was more pronounced, the angle, and it looked great, but there's no reason to be that angled. With this one it's a bit more straight, so obviously when you exert a force on it, it makes more sense. It won't like pry the kickstand forward. Yeah. So pretty happy with this kickstand. We still need to develop a system that you're going to be able to adjust it because the spring's going to be loose with the vibration and everything. So you need a system that with time you're going to be able to adjust the spring to bring it back like quickly, and also that it won't rattle, because if it's loose it's going to rattle against the aluminum frame and it's going to be unpleasant. So now with the rubber at the bottom of it that we're going to show again, it's blocking the vibration, and on top of that the spring system that we're going to change is going to make it more tight. Okay. So pretty happy with this kickstand. The only thing that we still need to fix is the way it's fixed to the deck. It could be a bit more waterproof too than what we have now. There's opening at the bottom that I don't really like, so I'm going to try to change this. But it's quite complicated to have all the spring hidden like this and to be waterproofed and sharp and don't vibrate. Like, yeah, it's something to make a kickstand. But yeah, pretty happy with this result. That's pretty much it for this sample. So if we resume, what we would like to see as change on the next sample, the cap of the wheel, they need to be more integrated, maybe in rubber to remove all vibration. The fender bracket could be better fixed to the forks, a bit longer too. We would like a hole in the footrest to be easier to grab and carry. The grip tape need to be a bit thinner, now it's too chunky. The light need to be less blue. The neck is great, but I think we can reinforce it a little bit. For the folding mechanism, we want to explore other things, maybe stronger screws or completely different mechanisms, we're gonna see. For the direction, we want a system that we can tighten in case it's becoming loose. Same thing at the front as the back for the fender. For the hubcap, we want something more durable. A phone holder with something that we can twist instead of having an on-off button for the mechanism. We want the wires to be better protected. For the throttles, we want the cap to match the throttle, so to be in plastic or everything in aluminum. We want better grips too, something that will look better. Turning signal at the end. The brake handle need to get a bit closer, and the brake cable need to be black to remove this. That's pretty much it for the outside.
That's it. Not much. You want to explore inside? Was there differences you said?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Let's open the inside and look at the difference. Okay, so now we're gonna remove the grip tape, open the deck, and show you inside the scooter. Good glue. It's like satisfaction, the sound, huh? All right, well, there's only 2 screws holding the deck for quick access. No, but I think we're gonna put less screws. Like, that's way too intense. 12 screws. Now we removed all the screws. The first thing you notice when the grip tape is gone is there's no IoT too. As you know, the Pro is going to be connected with GPS, so we can track it if it's stolen, we can control it remotely. So we need to add an antenna that's going to be embedded within the deck. So it's going to be about here. We're still working on it, but it's coming pretty soon. So now I'm going to lift this. The first thing you notice, it's really thick and heavy. Yeah, probably can stop a bullet. You can see the wires are being held in place with hot glue on this prototype. And also the connectors are not waterproofed. So we,
the lights?
That's for the lights. So
Okay.
those are the lights running here on the footrest. So we want to change this to waterproof connectors like we have on the Phantom, for example, on the Handlebar, the easy plug one. So if we look inside, the first thing you notice is how the components are placed within the deck. So now we have a way better structure. I don't know if you remember, the other one, the box light was on the side, the controller too, it was all over the place. Now there's actually a bracket holding the controller at the bottom and going over it, and we have the box light, so there's a clear separation between them, so the box light won't overheat the controller and vice versa. That's pretty good. Also, we can see the motor connector here. It's waterproof, sensors integrated. It's great. For reference, it's the same as the boosted rev, the one from Boosted Board. Pretty cool. For the charging, that's for the smart BMS too. So same connector but smaller, waterproof, that's great. Here we still have some connectors that are not waterproof, like a charging port. That's a classic XT30. We want this to be waterproof, so similar to this. We also have those connectors here for the lights, for the stem lights too. So we need to improve the wiring, but overall, it's pretty good. No, it's no longer like a wire nest like we have on other scooters.
Pretty clean, yeah. I think there was still space between the battery and the neck at the front on the first one, wasn't there?
Correct. So because we flipped everything now to the horizontal, we had to switch the battery forwards. It's a bit too close to the neck to my taste. I think there's some room at the back here. The box height, we could make it a bit smaller, so could switch everything to the back, so there's no contact.
Bit of a buffer then.
Yeah, a bit of a buffer, exactly. So during assembly, you know, they won't shove the battery in the right on the neck here, and overall pretty good. And if we look at the lights too here, the water could go inside. So if we lift this here, you can see the hole in the front. We want something there, either like a seal, a gasket, or just the liquid silicone. There needs to be something in case the water goes inside of this and then inside the deck. So that's pretty good. And the only thing missing, if you can bring back the top plate, we want to add a seal, a gasket all around the deck. So here we can see that they made the groove, right? Like the small one here, but they forgot to add it. So at least it's made on the 3D file, and we're gonna be adding a gasket all around it to really seal the compartment.
So I'll go around the light covering here, I guess, because that slides in into the groove, is that right?
Correct. So you have this one going into the groove. This groove is for the lights, and we're gonna add one inside to block the water. So that's gonna be the first barrier to block the water, and then you're gonna have
this part.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're gonna have the little gasket inside.
Okay.
But yeah, and we can save weight by reducing this. Just like the last sample, that's way too thick. It's really it's a massive chunk of metal. That's about it for the inside of the scooter. Pretty happy with this one. Again, we're gonna improve the waterproof of it, and also just like we are doing on the Phantom V3, for this one it's the Mach 1 controller. It's even gonna be the Mach 2 probably by the time we release it. So we want the controller to stick out and cool with the wind. So we're gonna need to cut out a hole just behind the kickstand, in front of it actually, and have the controller stick out there with the heatsink cooling with the wind. That's coming probably on the next sample or the one after that.
And for any concerns about like waterproofness, having it stick out, we've developed a way for it to still be IP66, right?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. The first one is there's gonna be a gasket between the controller and the frame. So when you tighten the screws of the controller to the frame, the gasket's gonna really like squeeze all around it, and that's gonna be waterproof. The second thing is also the actual controller is waterproof. So it can run underwater. We could like put it in a bucket of water and it's still fine. So the controller is going to be fine. There's no way for the water to go in. And lastly, we're going to put liquid silicone over the gasket, so it's overkill. If there's one place that the water won't go in by, it's that hole. So
very cool.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I think seeing the controller stick out, we also have a new color for the controller for this model. It's just going to be even more sexy, you know, like you see the engine. So that wraps up the first look at the V2 of the Apollo Pro.
Lots of changes already. I'm excited to see what comes next, and I believe we're going to be offering everyone who signed up to reserve the Apollo Pro, we'll be emailing them to see if they're interested in testing one of the later prototypes, is that right?
Exactly. So for this one, we don't want to take any chance. We want to over-test everything. What is reassuring is a lot of those components are already tested, like the folding mechanism, the throttle, those kind of parts, but we still want a lot of beta tester. So for everyone who reserved the Pro, we're going to be sending an email offering to be part of the early beta testing. So you're going to receive it probably something like 6 months before everyone at a huge discount. And the only thing we're going to ask you is to put miles on the scooter and to report to us like pretty much weekly. So if you want to be part of this group, we're going to be sending an email shortly. So just stay tuned.
That's for everyone who put down the $20 deposit to reserve the Apollo Pro, or at least be one of the first ones to get access to buying it when it's ready. I'm excited to see what the third version is going to look like, and it's already a big change. Is this going to be like the biggest change we see from one prototype to the next one, or is there even more to be excited about?
Aesthetically, that was the biggest change between the V1 and V2, and after that it's pretty much only refining with everything we mentioned before. And this is the second version. We're gonna have 5 versions. So what people can expect to receive as a beta tester, it's not this. It's going to be the 5th version, which you can see the difference between the first one and the second one. So imagine the 5th one, it's next level. We are living in the future.
Exciting stuff. All right, thank you again for your time, Elwa.
Thank you.
Hope you guys are excited. Stay tuned and ride safe.
Bye.